Hey there guys, Exxz here, and in today's video I'll be sharing a few tips and tricks that you can actually use to speed up your leveling process in Vanilla WoW. Okay, and to start it all off, we're going to be talking about gold. Gold is your main currency in Vanilla WoW. And at the beginning of Classic, there's going to be a lot of people that are trying to get as much gold as they possibly can. But it's going to be a bit difficult because at the beginning, you got to keep in mind that everybody's starting from zero and nobody's going to have any gold at all. So what you want to be doing at all times is pretty much when you kill something, you want to be looting everything off of that corpse. And that means from level 1 all the way up to level 60. You want to make sure that all of your bags are pretty much empty all of the time so that you can, when the mob actually drops something, that you can actually pick it up of him and not actually leave it behind, because that's some valuable gold that you're going to be spending. And sure, in the short run, it might not seem like a lot, but in the end, that's going to make a difference whether you're going to get your mount at level 40 or if you're going to get your mount at level 45. And another way of preserving gold is actually thinking about what skills you really need. In Classic WoW, there's a lot of spells that are not really that useful until maybe later on in the game. And they're like some niche spells that don't really increase your damage or don't really increase your survivability or anything. So it might be wise of you to actually stop for a minute and look what spells you're going to really need and what spells are going to impact your leveling speed by a lot, and maybe hold off on training some other spells that you maybe won't need at this particular time, and then you're going to have an easier time actually getting that mount, and you're going to have an easier time actually learning those spells once you hit level 60 and once you have a bit more gold to actually spend. Another way of maximizing your profit on Vanilla WoW is actually holding off on some items that are going to drop during your leveling process from 1 to 60. As I mentioned before, not a lot of people is going to have a lot of gold at the beginning of Classic WoW. So later on, until when they've leveled up their characters up to level 60 and maybe they're starting up an alt or something like that, those items are probably gonna go for a much larger price than they would at the beginning of Classic WoW. And next up, we have experience. Now, I think that this should go without saying, but what you want to be doing in Classic WoW is pretty much killing everything all the time. If you've picked up some of your quests and you're going to the questing area, you should be killing all of the mobs in between. Doesn't matter if they're required for your quests or not, you should be killing them all the time. Not only does it tie in perfectly with the first part of the video, with making gold, you're gonna get a lot more gold if you kill everything all the time, obviously, but it's also beneficial because maybe at some point in the game while you're leveling, you're going to run out of quests that you can do, and you're actually going to need to grind to the next level in order to advance to another zone. But if you're going to keep grinding all of the mobs in between of the quests and pretty much all the time that you're not questing or doing anything, you're going to have a lot easier time in actually leveling. It's going to speed up the whole process by a lot, and it's just going to make your life a lot easier. Another point we have is to try and not to skip the quests in your questing area that you're currently doing. It might be tempting to actually skip them because they're so far apart, but unless they appear as gray quests in your questing log, I don't think that they should be skipped. I think that you should be doing them because maybe you're gonna get an awesome reward that's gonna make you do more damage, or it's gonna make you heal better. But it's also really important that you get as much XP as you can, because as I said before, you might actually lose some of the experience, and you might actually need that experience later on once you've hit higher levels. And if you won't be able to advance to another zone, then you're not going to feel very well if you know that you've skipped actually some of the quests that could have actually helped you out in your whole leveling process. Also, like, a lot of people told me not to run dungeons because they slow you down and they are not really that efficient. But in my opinion, a lot of dungeons have a lot of awesome quests. Those quests reward you a lot of experience. They reward you a lot of gear that you can actually use for your class, and they're also meant for those lower levels. So if you want to experience Vanilla WoW to its maximum potential, you definitely want to be doing those low-level dungeons because they really offer offer a good, decent challenge, I'd say, and they're pretty fun. Like, it's not like today's dungeons in BFA, for example, that you just zerk through it. You really need to be keeping an eye out on what you're gonna CC next, on what you're gonna pull, because it's really easy to vibe in those dungeons. But if you know what you're doing, it shouldn't be too hard to do them. And I definitely encourage you to do them because I think that they're an amazing addition to the whole leveling process. Another thing to keep in mind is that it's an MMO, and as such, it's definitely more beneficial for you to actually group up with players, because Vanilla WoW is, in my opinion, a bit harder than BFA is, and you're gonna need a lot of help with your actual questing, with dungeons, and with everything else that you're gonna do in the game. A lot of the quests require you to kill some kind of an elite mob or maybe a harder enemy, so it's really beneficial for you to actually group up with people, just socialize with them. You never know, you might even make some new friends. Speaking of friends, if you're gonna play with friends in Vanilla WoW, it's important that you set yourself some kind of schedule and like try to keep to that schedule as much as you can, because it can be a lot of fun, and it can be frustrating as well, but if done correctly, it can really improve the whole leveling experience, because you're having an easier time killing everything. You're actually interacting with people, so it just makes the whole process a lot better and a lot smoother. Just as I said, make sure that everybody can be online at the same time, that you're always playing together if you decide to actually level up with friends, because if you don't, it can get a bit frustrating if somebody goes on their own and actually leaves you behind. Like, it's not really a nice thing to see. And since it's an MMO, I think it should go without saying that you should definitely join a guild. Guilds are communities that are going to help you out with pretty much anything that you need help with. It's a lot better experience, in my opinion, when you actually join a guild and when you level with the guild and when you do all sorts of activities with the actual guild. So definitely join a guild and yeah, interact with the people in that guild. Now, the next point probably matters the most for Vanilla WoW, but professions do matter. You should definitely think before you pick a profession, because some of the classes benefit more from certain professions, and some of the playstyles actually benefit more from other professions, and that's definitely something that you want to be looking into. If you're going to do PvE, make sure that you have professions that are good for PvE. If you're going to do PvP, make sure that you have professions that are good for PvP. Secondary professions also play a huge role in Vanilla WoW. First aid is practically a must. Cooking and fishing, I'd say not so much. They're also important. They can save you up some gold if you can fish up some fish, and then you can actually cook them. You don't need to spend gold on your food. But first aid is also a must, because you can actually craft bandages with first aid. And since there's a lot of downtime in Vanilla WoW from killing one mob and then to kill the next mob, because you're going to be drinking and you're going to be eating a lot to actually regenerate your health. So if you're going to have some bandages on you, it's just going to speed up the process of your actual leveling, of your regeneration, and you're just going to be able to get to that next mob a lot faster. Also, as I said before, keep in mind whether you're going to focus on PvP or whether you're going to focus on PvE. A lot of professions cater to certain styles of play, so definitely look into it on what you want to be doing. If you're going to be PvPing, pick up engineering. If you're going to be PvEing, I don't know, pick up whatever is good for your class that is going to increase your DPS and is going to increase your effectiveness as a whole. Another thing to consider when playing Classic WoW and starting out a new character is to plan out certain stuff before you actually start it out. Like, what's going to be your leveling route? Where are you going to set your Hearthstone to? All of these factors come in pretty drastically, because in Vanilla WoW, most of your leveling time is going to be spent from traveling from point A to point B. So thinking in advance where you can set your Hearthstone to, like if there's a huge questing hub somewhere and you have a lot of quests to turn in, you can set your Hearthstone like to that hub and then go kill off all the mobs and then just Hearthstone back and save yourself the running back time that you would actually lose if you didn't have the Hearthstone there. Leveling route is also important, because a lot of the quests are really spread out throughout the Azeroth and throughout of your zone. Like one quest is gonna make you go from the top of the zone to the bottom of the zone, and with your only walking speed or running speed, it's going to take a lot of time. So planning out what leveling route you're going to take can increase your leveling speed by really, really a lot. Learning new spells should also be considered when planning because you don't get a lot of beneficial spells every 2 or 3 levels. So you might want to check out on what levels you actually learn those spells, what beneficial spells you're going to get at what level, and then just actually go to the major town, go to your trainers at those levels. You don't want to be spending valuable time traveling from your questing hub to your town just to see that you're going to get, I don't know, some spell that isn't going to even do any damage or that you're not even going to use. Add-ons are something that is also going to help you out a lot in Classic WoW, because in Classic WoW, for an example, quest log doesn't show you where you need to go or what ads you need to kill in order to finish the quest, so I would highly recommend that you check out a lot of add-ons, because they're just going to make your whole leveling process a lot easier, and you're going to have a better time if you don't have to actually read all of the quest text and then actually spend another half an hour searching for that questing area where it could actually be and what you actually need to do. Food and reagents are also something to consider once you're in the city, once you're in a town. Make sure that you're resupplied on food and that you're resupplied on reagents, because you don't want to be going out into the wilderness and then just figuring out, oh, I don't have food, or oh, I don't have any water. I need to go back and to buy some in order to kill a lot of mobs and in order to actually finish the quest. Bank halt is also something that I would recommend you doing, because making a bank halt is going to maximize your backspace, because each and every time that you are near a mailbox, you can send all of the stuff from your main character to your bank halt, and then you can free up your valuable backspace, which is going to make you generate more gold, and there's just an easy way for you not to save yourself a trip, not to go to the town each time that you want to sell something, that you want to put something on the auction house, and I don't know, if you want to save up some materials to level up professions later, it's a really nice thing to have, and it's going to really help you out. Rested experience should go without saying, I say, at least as well, because if you know that you're gonna, I don't know, you're calling it for the night and you're gonna go to sleep, you should definitely log out in some kind of an inn or maybe in the city, because well, while you're in a city or while you're in an inn, you generate rested experience a lot faster, and that's going to speed up your leveling process by a lot, and that's definitely something that matters. And most importantly is that you should have fun. Like set your own pace, set your own playing times, like do whatever you like to do, just enjoy the world in general. There's a lot of quests and there's a lot of stories in vanilla WoW that are really, really good, and I highly encourage you to actually read through those quests and to actually check out what's the story, what's going on, and why is it going on, and etc. etc. And there isn't really any need to rush to level 60. I think that a lot of people are going to have jobs, responsibilities, and everything else, and won't be able to rush to 60 in, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks. So you should definitely set your own pace. There's always going to be a lot of people doing dungeons or doing something, so you definitely won't be missing out on anything. The most important thing is that you actually have fun. And with all of that said, we come to the end of the video. I hope you guys found it at least somewhat useful. If you liked what you saw, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.